You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review. We got a great show for you today. Alan Lee will not be here. Victor Pachecho is here. Victor, how are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Thanks for doing it. You've been very reliable. Alan Lee has been working and not reliable.
Oh, geez, what a chump. What a
Uh,
chump. No, I'm just kidding. Alan Lee's cool. I like Alan.
No,
He's nice.
no, we are. He is cool. But, well, I guess what I'm saying is you and I, we said, listen, we're going to quit our day jobs for Razor Riffs. And Alan Lee said, you guys are fucking stupid.
Yeah. Well, he's the one lacking knowledge right here, not being on the greatest podcast of all. Okay, that was a little bit much, but whatever. It's still fun. This is a fun podcast, man.
Speaking of the
And
greatest
funny.
podcast ever, which I totally agree with you, Razor Riffs is definitely top 500.
I thought you were going to
But,
say top three of all time.
I just got an email. I thought she was going to be late.
I thought you just pulled a groin over here.
Oh, dude, yeah. But speaking of the greatest podcast ever, I listened to that Cat Williams episode.
Oh, dude, Cat Williams, man.
Dude. So it was 3 hours long, and I think it was like it totally worked because I clicked on it and I listened to it. But it was just like a clickbait.
Of course it worked, dude. No, how did you listen to the whole thing and consider it clickbaity?
It was
There's
like
too many commercials.
Yeah.
Too many commercials. I'll give you that.
It was a clickbait, and he's like crap talking everybody, and then everybody responds to it. So this dude who interviewed him,
yeah,
I read an article. He got like 100 million downloads on that episode.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was more.
Dude,
it hasn't even been a week. This hasn't even been a week.
Yeah.
Hasn't even been a week, man. Like literally, I'm like, man, when was I was like, I don't know. People remember like January 6th as being like an infamous day in United States history, but I'm thinking now it's January 7th or January 5th or whenever that happened, man. I couldn't believe it. It was like 3 days ago. I was like 3 days ago. And that was so it must have been the 4th. So yeah, January 4th or whatever, or the 3rd. I don't know. It was just like we're not even like 2 weeks into the new year.
I know.
And Cat Williams
he blew it up.
Everybody up. You know what, though, dude?
Blew up this podcast. So
he blew up the internet. Dude,
I think we gotta get Cat Williams on Razor Riffs, and we gotta say, Cat. Never been a fan of Kevin Hart. You know what
I mean? Dude, what an opener, man! Could you imagine if you just opened up with that? Like, hey, Cat, you know that guy you're talking smack about him? Well, fuck him. I never liked him, but you're great. But dude, you know what though? I've been thinking though, man, that gets me kind of like, why would he do that? And people are like, oh, to stay relevant. I'm like, no, you know what? I think it might have got to him all these years where people are like, oh, he's a crackhead. He ruined his fortune and his success because of drugs. And it's just like, I don't know about drugs, maybe alcohol, but it's just. But I don't think he did it. Like he didn't. If he did anything that bad, he would have gone to prison.
Well, I think he's. I mean, I've always liked him. I always thought he was funny. I
thought he was funny as fuck, man.
I don't think he's the top 5 of all time, like people say he is, but he is funny, and I've always liked him. And I always thought that maybe, like after listening to this interview, because he made a lot of good points too. You know what I mean? Like on people he was. I don't want to pick a side, but he did make good points on certain subjects, and then certain subjects. I was just like, what? What are these points? So he is very, very smart. And I think maybe he did it to say, hey, I'm not scared of anybody right now. So I actually admire that.
Well, yeah, I admire it, but have you seen the resurgence of all these videos that are calling out? Like, I don't know, like everybody's making a big deal about how Steve Harvey's was wearing a toupee or a hairpiece. And it's Cat Williams was the one to call him out about it. I'm like, I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah, I wear a hairpiece.
No, you don't, Keith. That'd be the best hairpiece of all time. It looks natural. That's why you
Thank
need to.
you.
That's why you need to release the videos.
I actually don't wear a hairpiece. I'm just trying to let all the bald people know. I feel you, and I can
Oh my!
will.
This is like when they asked Michael Jackson to interview. They're like, "Are you gay?" And he's like, "Stop the interview." Then they stopped the interview, and then he supposedly said, "I don't want to answer that question because I don't want to alienate my gay fans." It's like, shut up, Michael. You're
Wait,
gay.
did he really
Or,
say that?
yeah. So allegedly, I wasn't there, but during an interview, they asked him about his sexuality, and like, I need you to stop the interview. I need you to cut the cameras right now.
I was there. I was at Neverland on
I
that
thought
day.
you're gonna say I was sitting on his lap. That was like a solid 4 or 5, but in his eyes, I was a 10.
Yeah.
No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
he doesn't just call Chris Tucker Christmas. He called me Christmas too.
Wait, why does he call Chris Tucker Christmas? I don't get that. I don't get that. Like, it comes once a year, like Santa Claus. Like, I don't get that. Am I fucking dumb?
Well, no, because Christmas, right? I don't know.
Christmas.
I mean, I got to interview
But it made it
Michael.
sound like an insult, man. Christmas is great unless you're Jewish or Muslim, right?
Yeah. I do got to interview Michael Jackson to have the.
Dude, well, you're gonna need a Ouija board or you're gonna need a time machine, man. It's not gonna happen, dude.
Oh
Right?
yeah, because he's
Yeah,
sick.
he passed away. You
Oh
dick.
yeah.
You're fucking sick. Are you kidding me? Oh my god! And then it's gonna just go into the episode. It's just like, hey, we have all these done.
Speaking of the episode, we got a great guest. She's a great voice actress. You've seen her on everything: King of the Hill, The Simpsons, Wreck-It Ralph, which is one of my favorite movies. She's
Futurama.
Futurama. She's also the voice of Betty Boop, and it's going to be great. The great Sandy Fox is here. Or she's not here, but she's going to come here. Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because you just stutter stepped right there. It's like, she's going to be here. She's not here right now. It's like, no shit, dude. She's not here right now.
No, but I thought I was going to mess up on Betty Boop because I
You
thought
did. You
I
did.
did.
I'm grinning from ear to ear. Keith cannot say boop. I'm like, dude,
Oh,
pretend you're like boop, boop.
Oh, Boop, Boop.
I don't know how you got Sandy Fox right and Betty boop, boop wrong.
Okay. So she's the voice of Betty.
Hold on, boop.
Okay.
Boop. But hold on a second. Even
Did
more
I-
hilarious. Before we started recording, He's all like, "Hey, did you know she's in a Land Before Time 6?" And I was like, "Really? That's awesome. Who does she play, or who does she voice?" And Keith's like, "A dinosaur." And I'm like, "Keith, what the fuck is wrong with you?" Of course, what was this, like the last Land Before Time before like the caveman snuffed her out, or like snuffed out all the dinosaurs? Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
But you set me up for that.
Dude, I didn't. I thought you knew. I don't know. I think you're saying like Littlefoot's cousin, or Littlefoot's auntie, or Littlefoot's, I don't know, nephew, or I don't know. It's the sixth one, so maybe he's like he has a family by then.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Betty Boop.
Betty, yeah, but don't say it like that. You just imagine the whole interview. Yeah, so you've always Betty Boop, and just wondering the lineage and your timeline, and am I saying that right, Victor? Betty Boop, 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 boop.
See, you're making fun of me because I have a speech stutterness, and I gotta find ways to try and come on, man.
Learn Spanish, and you have to phonetically pronounce. Well, I mean, you're supposed to phonetically pronounce everything in English, but in Spanish, it's like there's no missing letters. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's like native indigenous languages and stuff, then it's a little different. Then there's a bunch of J's and X's, and it's just really hard, and Z's.
Yeah, we just got rejected by Michael Ian Black, guys.
Oh my God, was that what the email was about?
Yeah,
Keith, just minimize that window right now.
I know, but see, I gotta keep my phone in case she texts me like, "Hey, I can't get in." I don't know.
Dude, are you sure she's not just chilling in the waiting room? That'd be fucked up.
Wait, mate, how do I do that?
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! All right, at the bottom it says participants, right? And you click it. It says 2.
Okay,
like
participants,
you and me.
right?
Yeah, click it, and then this window should come up.
Nothing's gone, and the window left.
Okay, press it again.
Wait, oh shit!
I'm still here. Wait, did you reject her?
No, you told me to click that, and I clicked it. Now I can't see it. Oh wait, I should go to chat. Okay, now I'm on the chat.
Dude, it's not the chat, dude. It's the participants. If you click an arrow, there's
Okay,
an
so
arrow
wait,
pointing up.
explain to me.
It's next to the video where it says stop video. Keith, this is the worst pre-show ever. It was like the best pre-show ever. Like,
I had it right. Then you told me to hit. Okay,
all
so
right, then hit it again. It'll show up.
it says, okay, so I hit more at participants. Got it.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Excellent. We're back in business, folks.
Dude, we never left. We never left.
Oh,
Sorry.
right.
I jumped the gun on that one. I jumped the gun. Sorry.
God, man. Victor, you should teach a Zoom course. Be like, all right,
Just
Zoom
yell at people.
101. First of all, give me $300. Excellent.
It's like you all passed.
you all passed 101. 102. Give me $300 and download Zoom.
Oh my god, dude, Zoom is hard to teach certain people, but I don't know, man. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens.
Well, I'm so bad at the internet and computers and videos. Like I'm really bad at that stuff. But I'm very good at comedy.
Keith, you're one of those comics, dude, where like the amp isn't working, and it's like, hey, do you know how to work this? And you're like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. What the fuck you mean amp? It's just like, what the fuck you're a fucking comic. You've been doing this for hella long. You don't know how to work an amp. But you know what's funny? The only comics that know how to work amps either own one, because they're a producer,
Right.
in addition to being a comic, or they used to be a musician.
That's true.
That's it.
Oh,
That's
Sandy Fox is here.
Nice.
All right. But no, that's true. Sandy's in the waiting room. So I hit admit, right?
Yes.
All right. Excellent.
You're incredible, Keith.
This Zoom stuff's easy. Hi, Sandy.
Hello.
Oh, how are you?
Hi.
Sandy, this is Victor. He's the trusty sidekick.
Hi, Victor.
Hey, Sandy. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
He was just giving me a lecture on Zoom because I don't know how to work Zoom apparently.
Oh yeah. I logged on and it said update, and so it was updating and then the camera wasn't working. And I know that you're using audio, but I still thought it'd be nice for us to see each other. So
yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry Victor couldn't help you because he was helping me at that time.
Oh, that's okay. Is this sound okay for you guys?
Oh, that sounds great. It sounds
okay,
great.
good.
Immaculate.
Awesome. Well, it was pretty exciting. I got to meet Dermot at
you did?
CityCon.
Ah.
Yep, and he just loved being on the show with you guys. So he was very, very kind. Yeah.
Yeah, he was awesome. He was great. Yeah. I forgot we were talking how like it was like serendipity because you saw Dermot was going to do it and you're like, I just watched a Dermot movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah. See, yeah, synchronicity for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, several things were adding up. And so I'm a very connect the dots person. So I thought, oh, okay, this is all in the flow.
Yeah. I like connecting the dots too. Like especially if it's like on a board game or something like tic-tac-toe.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of like E.T. and the Reese's Pieces, I'm like the universe is leaving you little Reese's Pieces. And I'm like, oh, okay, go over there.
Oh, awesome. Well, you brought up cons, so that's actually how I know you because I saw you at a con. I was too scared to say hi because I don't like people, but I saw you.
That could be a problem on this planet.
Yeah.
Maybe other planets, you'd be fine.
Yeah. But I saw you, and I saw a whole bunch of other people, and I just wanted it must be so cool to have fans come up to you and I don't know how much time they get with you, but like they share a story how you've touched their lives and stuff. So that must be, I think, like one of the coolest feelings in the world.
You know, it really is. It's like a great reward of this work is to meet the people that, you know, we're breathing life into these characters and these stories. So to meet the fans or just the people that these stories who have touched them, you know, come up and share just their love for the project or my characters. And it's just a nice exchange because as a voice actor, we're like in a booth. I always say I work in a padded room with
Yeah.
voices in my head by myself. So, but we're pretty isolated from
Yeah.
that. So, the conventions to me are one of my greatest joys of this work. Getting to meet the fans and to speak on panels and hear stories and yeah, and just be one on one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it brings me great joy. And I'm so blessed that the characters that I voice are very lovable and adorable and you know, they share a very positive energy and so that seems to ripple out into the fan base.
It's also because like when you started, you know, voice acting was probably big, but a lot of people didn't know voice actors. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
now it's like it's like a voice actor. People know voice actors just like they know regular celebrities.
Yeah, that's very true here in North America. I know for years, voice actors in Japan that voice anime, they're famous. They're like rock stars from the beginning. It wasn't until the internet and people did get to see your face on social media or connect the character with the actor that really, you know, changed everything and the number of cons literally there's you know it's multiplied by so many more per month or per year in the United States and North America and all over the world than
Yeah.
there were, you know, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
so I know like you can't believe everything you read on the internet, but I did have one question to see if this is true.
Okay.
So I heard you started your adventure in celebrityness when you were a dancer for the Orlando Magic.
That's one, yeah, that
Holy
would be
Lord!
it. Yeah. Yeah, I lived in Orlando. I actually when I was in musical theater in high school and I performed. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I performed in this very small theme park called Kennywood Park on my summers off from high school. And at 17, right after high school, I moved to Orlando to work for the Walt Disney Company as an entertainer and on live stage shows and some pretty famous characters that you might recognize. But basically, I lived and worked in Orlando for 11 years. So I was a singer, a dancer, an onstage performer. And I did audition. I was one of the first women to audition for the Orlando Magic when they brought the franchise. You know, they opened the franchise. So that was Orlando's first basketball team. And it was a very exciting time. I was an Orlando Magic girl for 3 seasons. And I left for Los Angeles the year that Shaquille O'Neal came in.
Oh
But
my God!
yeah, yeah. But it was so exciting. I got to see Larry Bird, Magic, and Michael Jordan, like so close up within 4 feet.
Yeah, I
And we were on the court. So we got, you know, it's the best seat in the house.
yeah.
And it was just so exciting. It was a very exciting time. Um,
I think it's cool that the Magic traded you for Shaq.
yeah. Yeah, they got a lot more for their money. No, but that was really, really just a very special time.
And then when did you get into the saying, "Hey, I want to do voice acting"? Because
Well, it was interesting because it all kind of leads, into each other. When I moved to Orlando, I was working part time. I was working for Disney as an entertainer and working part time nights at a couple nights a week at a Bennigan's.
Uh,
Have you ever heard of Bennigan's TGI Fridays? It's kind of like a chain, like a pub
yeah.
chain. And so I was the hostess. I was very young. I was like 18, and I would be the girl on the microphone at 2:30 in the morning. Last call for alcohol.
Oh my
And
god.
this man named Steve Tirico, this musician, he was in a paper straw hat and a little bow tie and little round glasses. And he said, "Say there, you sound just like Helen Kane." And I don't know who Helen Kane is. I'm 18. She was a very famous pop singer from the 1920s and
Yeah.
30s and happened to sing a lot of the Betty Boop songs. And so he said, "I have this orchestra. Will you come audition?" And so I did. So besides working for Disney full time, I was also touring around with this 1920s jazz orchestra, singing the songs of Betty Boop and the Cab Calloway numbers. I mean, it was so exciting. We opened for Ray Charles and
Whoa.
Dizzy Gillespie and Pete Fountain at the Cool Jazz Festival. This is in the very early 80s in Jacksonville, and played a lot of really fun gigs. But often I would get asked, "Can you dress like Betty Boop,
Yeah.
for like an event or something?" So I started singing the songs of Betty Boop. So Betty Boop has always been like a cartoon angel for me. And then working at Disney in these live shows, whether it's Mickey's Birthday Party or Fantasy Follies, I was surrounded by the legendary Disney characters for 5 shows a day.
Oh my
So
god.
I'm hearing those voices. I would often get asked to do Mickey or Minnie or Snow White for like a parade track or something. But an actress, director actress Sue Blue, she came to Orlando in the late 80s and taught a voiceover workshop. And I really wanted to explore that because in Orlando, it wasn't a place where animation, voiceover, any of that was being recorded. And I fell in love with her passion, her excitement, her energy for how she approached her work, and
Yeah.
thought, wow, this is like an exciting avenue I haven't explored yet.
Oh, that's
So I
awesome.
kind of set that intention that, I've kind of done a lot of work in Orlando. I did some TV commercials. I got my SAG after card as a space hooker in a movie
Whoa.
called Super. I know, right? In a movie called Super Force.
Oh my
And it
god.
was like a Ridley Scott and I had razor blades for fingernails and
Yeah.
it's a pretty obscure movie. It was the people that produced Superboy. They did a movie called Superboy, Superforce, and I felt like I was ready to like move on to something new. So as soon as I set that intention, then Universal called and said we need a Betty Boop. For the theme park, we obtained the rights to Betty Boop and Popeye and Olive Oil, and we need like a living Betty Boop. And I called them back for the audition, and it ended up being a Hollywood, California.
Oh.
Yeah. So she kind of brought me to LA. And I was at that time in 1991 pounding the pavement, knocking on doors, talking to agents, bringing my little, demo tape. And I got signed with a great agent in Beverly Hills. And my first job was a commercial with Marvin Kaplan and Lorenzo Music, the voice of Garfield. It was a White Castle hamburger commercial.
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know if you know Marvin Kaplan. He was an iconic character actor,
Yeah.
and Lorenzo Music, of course. Both of them passed on, but that was so exciting. And then, like, my second job was working on The Simpsons. They called and said, "The Simpsons, Fox bought The Simpsons, and we need a group of voices to record all the extra voices every week. So
Yeah.
it's called Walla or Loop Group. So I ended up doing that in the early 90s, one of the first loop groups. So those very early episodes like Snake Whacking Day.
Yeah.
That's me
Whacking Day.
singing. Yeah, Snake
Yeah.
Whacking Day. That's me singing. And
S- s-
it was
San-
really fun. And I got to use a little bit of my improv chops for that
That's
because
awesome.
you
That's so
know, I
awesome.
had never done Walla before. So it was great. You know, I came right out of using those when I worked at Disney. So yeah.
Sandy,
That's
you
awesome.
never should have told Victor you were on The Simpsons, because now he's going to be like a little boy on morphine. Like that's his favorite show.
Oh, wow. So you're going to
Yeah.
go back, and I was a Swedish woman drowning in the Olympic episode. No, these are just things they do. They call out, okay, who can do, we need the Swedish woman drowning. And I'm like, help, I'm drowning.
Oh,
So like, who knows, right?
Yeah.
Little kids, of course, we voice lots of little kids in the schoolyard with Melhouse. And
Oh my
yeah, so
God.
it was just, and it was so new. It was when they bought the show and Fox, brought it on to their network, and then later, which was great, that job led on later on for me to do 7 years of King of the Hill,
Oh my
the
God.
yeah.
Walla group, and also 2 years of Futurama, the original
Oh
Futurama.
my God.
Yeah. And it's, people always say, oh, but you were just like an extra voice, but it does take quite a skill.
Oh,
Like I
definitely.
said,
Yeah.
improv, technical, following cues, watching the sound supervisor and the loop group director. Like it definitely takes skill. So that's where I learned that skill. Yeah.
I
I'm,
want I wanted to ask you, like, when you do voices, like, because when actors do movies, they like get in character and they like have to, turn into that character. But voices, you could just, you're still acting, but you could just sit down and do it. So like, how do you train yourself to do that? Because you're mostly working with your mind and your voice.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely there's different ways, usually when you get an audition, you'll get an image of the animated character.
Mhm.
And you audition, different voices, you work on that voice for your audition. But, in anime and video games, it's very rare you get to see the character, or even you never see the script before you go in. So
Right.
it's not just like creating that character on the spot, it's cold reading. There's so many things happening at once. The beeps are going off because you're dubbing. The same thing with looping too. You're dubbing, so you don't know what you're really walking into that day. I know loop groups that work on different television series and things. They do get cue sheets the night before and things like that, so they can see if they need specific dialogue for like a newscaster or something. But yeah, it's pretty much creating characters on the spot. Now you have auditions, so you get cast for your type or your voice. So I know the kinds of characters I'm playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you really but a lot of times I personally, everybody's different. Like sometimes I'll voice little girls and sometimes I'll voice little boys. So I never sit when I'm reading because I like to keep my energy up, but I'll stand differently for a little boy and I'll kind of get in the body of a little boy, like
Uh,
really like, you know, move around. Like I kind of get into it a little bit. So that helps me. Or just like with some voices, you'll find like a signature line that'll help take you back into that character. That's very helpful. So when you're doing a voice, like I've been working on a video game for over 2 years called Grand Blue Fantasy, and I play this little dragon,
oh my
and
God.
his name is Vern. And so Vern has this signature line, I ain't no lizard, I'm a dragon, so I get that line. I get in kind of Vern's body, and he has little dragon teeth. So I think about, sometimes he has a little lisp in speak. So a lot of things will inform you when you look at the image of the character. Of course, the director of the session is always informing you because they know the entirety of the script
Right.
and the story and the relationships with the other characters you're coming into. So we rely heavily on the director, that the writing is there. There's so many pieces that come together.
Oh, definitely. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I kind of wish you were my mom so I could play that game for free.
I don't know if I could get it for free.
Oh, they don't. Oh, because I've
Yeah, they
done.
don't usually like here's a pass to play it for free. That would be kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. Well,
But
because the reason because I've only done one movie in my celebrityness, and they sent me like 300 free copies, and they're like,
oh,
I was like,
awesome.
I think you're just giving me a whole bunch of stuff I have to burn. Like
That That's very rare these days, though, that you
yeah.
get that kind of stuff. We used to always get a DVD or, of a film we did or a project, but yeah, it's very rare, I think, these days. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you did the voices on Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, so that was another looping session. And that was a funny story because they called my agent and they said, we need the highest voices in Hollywood
Oh,
for
really?
all. Rich Moore, yeah, the director, he wanted the highest voices in Hollywood. And of course, you walk in that room and there's all these women that you've worked with for years, Tara Strong and Debbie Derryberry and Mona Marshall. But it was because they were creating that world with the candies and the little cookies that talked and everything that was so surreal. So that was a huge Wallace session. It was several days. I worked, like you said, with the first group of mostly actors, that amazing actors. I mean, Jim Cummings was there, so many great actors. And then they bring in like a whole group of little kids.
Yeah.
So there's different, aspects to a movie like that, like a big blockbuster Disney movie or any movie like that, DreamWorks. And then on the flip side, for Maleficent, I was in the loop group for Maleficent, the first
Yeah.
one, and it was just five of us that did everything.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. So that was very different, kind of experience. But yeah, you don't know what you're walking into. So you just come in, staying open and being and improv, I feel is really important. I always tell people wanting to get into voiceover to, get into some improv training because that does help stretch you and let you walk into that yes,
Yeah.
walk into that moment being knowing you can create anything,
No,
that's needed. Yeah, the
definitely.
confidence.
Yeah, because Victor and I we're highly trained in the form of stand-up comedy.
Oh,
So
cool.
our improv skills are top notch. You know what I'm saying?
All those hecklers.
Yeah. But Victor had a question for you.
Oh, hi,
What?
Victor.
Oh, hey. What's up, Sandy? No, I had a few questions, but I guess I don't know which order I want to go in. But yeah, because you covered a lot. I just wanted to know what's the difference between voicing a cartoon versus a video game? You were talking about you don't get the script beforehand for the video games, so
Yeah, no, you don't. Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. So let me even go back to include anime as well, because anime
oh, okay.
is such a huge genre, right? And that demographic, and it's outselling, video games. I mean, it's video games and anime are huge right now. So in anime, they bring the script, the producers will bring the script over from Japan and they will translate it into English. So there's an English translation. Then a writer will create an English adaptation. And the adaptation, so that everything fits into the flaps of the character,
Yeah.
the Japanese. And the same thing with some video games. Grand Blue, for example, is a Japanese video game. Sometimes I'll hear the Japanese and then they'll want me, we'll know the timing because games have very much to do about timing. Some of the scenes have very specific timing that coordinate with the animation of the game, but that in the same way. So, anime, we go into a booth, we're by ourselves, we see the script, we only read our lines. There's no one else reading with us or working off of us. We're working directly with the director who's feeding us the story, the scene, the relationship, and we go from there. And sometimes I'll be recording page 1 of Sailor Moon, and then I'll be on page 30 of Sailor Moon. So
Yeah.
what happens in between, if I'm not in the scene, I don't even, I'm informed when I get to page 30. In traditional animation, you do get the script maybe a day or 2 days before. Like, for example, I was on a show, Hi Hi Puffy Ami Yumi, and
I
we were,
love that show.
yeah, I played the stalker,
Oh my
Harmony.
God.
I'm your number 1 fan. I loved her. Oh my gosh, she
Oh,
was fun. Gray Delisle's on the show,
that's a
and
sweet stalker.
yeah, she was really fun. My favorite scene is when her whole episode, she wants to steal their diary,
Yeah.
and she finally gets the diary and it's boring.
Oh my
She's
God.
like, "Oh no, they have the most boring life." But so that's done radio style, like a radio play. All the actors are in the room together. The director runs you through the script. You're working off each other. You might insert a giggle or, a little improv or something once in a while, but everything's done together and we're reading off each other. And we probably go through the script, 3 times.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. And you do get the script ahead of time. You've auditioned for that character. You know who that character is. And the third is the video games. So video games, they can be the PG games, those Japanese games online. They can be, the other types of games, but basically you can do up to 400 lines a game, a session, where you're reading like 20 ways to die, 20
Yeah.
ways to get hit by a missile, 20 ways to get hit by an arrow. You know what I mean? You go through different efforts. And then there's little cut scenes that you guys go to in the games. So that is, we never see any of that ahead of time. I do know my character Vern because I did the Japanese anime before I did the game. So I do know, I was very informed who Vern was.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's very different. Still a director in the room. With the games that are out of Japan, we have the Japanese producers and writers on Zoom on the other line. And so they're also informing us on the scene and the script and translating, what the direction from the Japanese producers.
Well, if you guys ever need a Zoom expert, Victor's available.
Oh, that's good to know, actually. Zoom experts are good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted
Especially
to,
when we're teaching classes or something,
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I wanted to ask you, like, when you go to an audition and they say, okay, you're auditioning, I'm assuming they have you recorded for the audition as well, right?
Yeah. Years ago when I moved to LA, you would actually drive to a location and record the
Yeah.
audition on site. And even before the pandemic, everything went to email. The agent emails you an audition and
Yeah.
then you email it back. So it like having your own studio set up, a good microphone, a good, working studio that you can record, edit, and then send back, email back. And then now we've moved even further where a lot of sessions are done remotely since the pandemic. Everything's kind of moved. So a lot of sessions are done remotely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I asked is because, like, so say if you went on an audition and let's just say you didn't get this part and you read for it. And then, like, say, like, I don't know, 5 years later, whatever it takes. So you see, you're like, oh, hey, I auditioned for this. I want to watch this. And then you see maybe they took some of your lines, like not your voice, but the lines of your improv. Like, has that ever happened to you? Because that happened to me once, and I was like,
Oh, really?
uh,
No. It hasn't happened to me. SAG after the union is very protective. If you do find you hear, like, if they ask you to read the whole radio commercial, then you hear that.
yeah.
I think it's very rare that that happens. I mean, that I know of, but definitely you don't usually improv a whole lot. You might want to add a little something to your audition to let it stick out, but usually you have to stick to the script.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So
So,
maybe the project I did was more of an improving thing. It was for like Grand Theft Auto, and they were like,
oh, yeah, that could be.
just yell at hookers or something, and I was like,
Oh, and so they
yeah,
pulled some of your lines,
yeah, not
maybe.
my voice, but like the stuff I was saying. Like
Oh, yeah.
I was like saying, "Hey, get in the red car," stuff like that. My improv skills, they're on fire. Victor,
Literally.
exactly.
Literally, they're on fire.
I'm so glad you laughed at that because I thought, what if she doesn't laugh? I'm gonna.
Oh, you didn't see Victor's sign. Applause, laughs. He has those signs. He's blinking at me.
Two blinks mean laugh. Victor, what's your next question for
Sandy's being
Sandy?
kind. I'm sending it to her in the direct chat.
Oh, yeah, let me open that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
no, it just came up. No, I'm just kidding. It's okay. No, so obviously I'm like, it was so, I don't know if you saw me fanboying when you were doing the impression of the lady drowning, but I was just like, oh my God, I remember that. That's like so vivid. It's so great. And like, so I was just wondering, what are the challenges when voicing a female voice role versus a male voice role? Like, you're talking about like standing up when you're the boy, and like I was kind of trying not to giggle at that, but like I was just like, yeah, you have that boy angst, but like, do you have like a girly angst too, or is that just natural?
Oh, yeah, yeah, you do. I mean, people, my voice is very similar if you listen, of course. I just get cast. My husband is Lex Lang. He's an amazing voice actor.
Whoa!
I'm sure you guys have heard of him, and he can do any. He can just, he's so incredibly talented, but and diverse. He can do any accent, he can do any age, he does a lot of incredible villains. But for me, what I get cast in, I love using my gifts, right?
Yeah,
I know my gift. I love using my gift. And so, yeah, even though my characters may sound similar, they have different, it's as an actor, they're completely different, right?
no,
Who is
definitely.
this character in Sailor Moon? Where is she coming from? What is her purpose in this scene or in this project? As opposed to another cute character, so you always, that's the bait, that's where you go first, is who are you, not just does the voice sound right, right?
Yeah.
And then the voice will emerge, like, or the character will emerge. But yeah, there's snotty little girls and smart little girls, and all different kinds of people, just like people, like humans. I
Yeah.
had my drama teacher in high school, one of them, he gave the best advice. He says, if you want to study acting, study people.
Oh, that's great advice.
That's
Study people.
great.
Just really study them. Like, just sit on a bench or wherever you are, and just kind of notice, because you'll find a lot of little traits and little things you can add
Yeah.
to your characters.
So like I actually been doing that my whole life because I have Asperger's syndrome. So like I don't, like I said before, I hate people. So like when I go and go people watching, I'll like make up my own little stories that these people are having, you know what I mean?
Oh,
And it's,
yeah.
yeah, and it's the best when they're fighting because I think break up.
So you're kind of like a profiler therapist
Yeah, yeah.
from afar.
Yeah, if I wasn't a comedian, the FBI would definitely hire me to be a profile. You're,
Oh, cool, cool. I
I don't
love
know.
those shows. I love
Yeah,
all those shows, where they
Uh,
break everybody down.
yeah.
which is your favorite true crime show?
Well, I love is it CSI? All the
Oh,
different
thank God.
CSIs. Those are really good.
Number one is like if a red flag is, oh, I love Snapped.
Oh, which one?
Snapped. It's one of the true crime shows. It's like oh my goodness,
Oh,
it's like cold case files. It's like, but it's always like the man did something wrong, and the woman snapped. And
Ugh.
every single one,
oh
and every single one, the woman is the aggressor slash murderer
no. Oh
slash.
my
And I'm
gosh.
just like, so every time I'm like, no, I love Snapped, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
I'm
I'm
so
kind of
sorry.
old school when it comes to those.
Oh, but some of these
Forensic Files.
Oh
forensic
yeah,
files,
yeah. Oh, okay.
that's a classic. But no, no, no. But this one's like
Sandy
very.
should do Forensic Files. That would be great.
What's the one with Joe Montana? Joe Montana. Is that
Oh,
CSI?
Criminal Minds.
Criminal Minds. I love that
Yeah.
one too. That's a
You,
really good one.
you should
I
do
like
Criminal Minds.
I like Criminal Minds. All
Ah,
of those. I love the different characters and how they I just love different characters and how they relate to each other and interact. But recently, both my husband and I, we watched Picard, and then we said we gotta go back. We
yeah.
gotta go back. So we went back to Next Generation and started at pilot season
Oh,
one.
oh,
What was it,
nice.
like 1990 or
Yeah,
something?
it was
And
wild.
we've watched like every episode of Next Generation, and I have like a new admiration and love for Star Trek that I didn't have. I was always more Star Wars, and I don't know, I just love it. It's like classical theater. It's there's so many lessons. I think, it's just really it's a really, really good
Yeah.
series. And for his birthday this year, we went to see Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart, do a
Oh,
1 hour talk at the,
whoa.
yeah, so then down in Hollywood. So that was really cool to kind of hear his story, his life story,
When's his birthday?
same day as mine.
Whoa, when's your
Yes.
birthday?
Oh, no, not my husband, Patrick
Oh,
Stewart's birthday. His birthday's
oh,
November 11th. But
oh, okay.
funny that you asked that, because Patrick Stewart and Harrison Ford and I have the same birthday, July 13th.
Oh my God.
I know.
So like whenever you listen to K Rock on July 13th, they're gonna say, all right, celebrity birthdays today. We got Patrick Stewart. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Harrison Ford. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sandy Fox. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't know they do
Yeah.
that.
So Sandy, I have 3 questions left. I want to respect your time, but they're kind of fast questions.
Okay. And if Victor has any more, I have time. So
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I got more questions. I'm like, which ones to ask? Oh my God. Sorry. Sorry,
Okay.
Ted.
So I'll go first, then we'll go to Victor.
okay.
So I didn't know you were married to the great Lex Lang, but I did know that you work with him a lot. So that
Oh
was one of my
yeah.
questions. But now that I know you're married, I kind of want to throw away that question because you're with him all the time, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
Ah.
Yes. Yeah, we've been together 27 years.
Oh
Oh
my God.
wow.
Someone tried to fix us up because they knew he worked on the Power Rangers in the early 90s. And they said, oh, I know you do voiceover. And they tried to fix us up for 6 months. And we met on our own 6 months later at a party and
Oh
had
my
no
God.
idea, that
We were
Yeah.
trying to
we
set
were
you
being
up.
fixed up. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
He mighty
Destiny.
morphed a date.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Okay, but here's the question seriously, since that one got thrown out of the water. Do you ever notice that when you voice stuff, because maybe it doesn't happen all the time, but I notice like when I watch stuff and it's voice acting, sometimes the character kind of resembles the actor in a way. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
they're drawn kind of like them in a way.
Yes, yes. More than they're drawn, except for Betty Boop.
Yeah, I was gonna say you
Oh,
look.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Yeah.
Except for Betty Boop, I always related to Betty Boop or like Snow White, but Betty Boop for sure. I just feel so connected to her. just even the 1920s alone, like my first time in Hollywood driving over Vine, Hollywood and Vine, or if I go to any of those iconic places in and around Hollywood that were from that era, I feel immediate connection. But definitely, I will see things, especially in shows like Sailor Moon, I worked on for almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Every week or every other week, we did an episode, and I saw a lot of similarities or themes with her character. And my character. And so I realize I do think sometimes we're drawn to these parts or these roles call us in, and it kind of awakens memories or parts of us that we can use in the role.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Because my uncle did this movie called Emperor's New Groove, and
Oh.
it looks like the cartoon looks exactly like him.
Well, that's a Disney cartoon, isn't it? Is that or DreamWorks? Is
I have
that
no-
Emperor's New Groove? I think that's DreamWorks. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes what Disney or DreamWorks will do is like they'll take the voice actor because they're animating after you're recording. So
Oh,
they
okay.
will like and add little characteristics like the animators come in the room while you're recording, or they'll watch the recording and they'll actually track the faces and everything. So they
Oh,
will kind of like Robin Williams and the genie, right? You
yeah. I
kind of
was going to
saw
say
his
that. Yeah.
essence in there. So I do think once I think projects like that where the character where it's a feature film and the voices are recorded beforehand, you'll see a little essence of that
Oh,
actor in the
all right.
scene. Yeah.
Victor, it's your turn.
Okay, how much time do I have? No, I'm just kidding. No, because I
Two
have
questions and then two questions.
okay, Jesus. Okay. So you do a lot of great voices, and I don't mean to be confrontational, but how come you don't do stand up?
I'm too short. They keep yelling, stand up, stand up. No, I'm kidding. They can't see me. No, I don't, like I said, Lex has done stand up before. That was like part of his roots. I did do a lot of comedy. I mean, I would always get the comedic characters, even at Disney shows. I got to use my comedy skills. Um, I don't know. I think I'd have to, take a little class from you guys on what to do and how to do. But it would be fun. I would probably do more like, new age comedy or space
Voices.
comedy.
Yeah.
Voices. Like,
or just tell stories. Oh my gosh. Like
Ah.
when people would call the house and they would ask for my mother.
Oh.
They would. I mean, they would call the house and I'd answer hello. And in my head, I sound like, I think I sound like Kathleen Turner. I think I have a very deep voice.
Yeah.
But, I'd answer them, hello. And they're like, oh, hi, is your mother there? And so if I didn't want to talk to them, I would just continue on with the voice. And I'm like, la, 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 I have a Barbie. Do you have a Barbie? And then, they'd hang up. Or if I had to talk to them, it was a business call. Like, okay, hold on, Mom. Hi, can I help you? So then I'd bring in that other voice, which I've only gotten to use a few times. But
oh my God.
Yeah, fun.
That's the coolest.
Yeah.
All right, Victor, what's your last question? Then I will end on my last question.
Okay, this was like an improvised question during the interview, so it was like more. Have you ever done any like epic prank calls with your range of voices?
Oh wow!
Because you would be amazing. I'm like listening to you, and I'm like, you would like if there's like a real like new age jerky boys or crank anchors, like you would be amazingly.
That would be fun. I never thought of that. I'm usually not like, I'm not one that pulled jokes on people,
Oh, you'd be great at it.
Now my husband, he will get on the like when, what are they, robocalls or those telecall rooms. he will get on as an old man, or he will get on. You'll have to have him on the show, but he
Oh
will
my
get
God, we
on
would
as a
love to have
British
him.
guy, and he will take them down the road. You know, like he definitely does that. I haven't done that really.
I'm vouching for you. You'd be so great. Like I'm like,
Oh, thank
I'm not a
you.
producer. If I was a producer, I would legitimately be like, I met this woman. She doesn't really know me, but I know her because I know her
Oh.
from her work, and she's just great. If like, I'm not gonna do the show unless you have her on it. Like, I can't do it. I can't do voices unless it's like a stereotypical Mexican voice or something. But other than that, or my whitewash
Well,
voice.
you probably can do a lot more than you think. A lot of
Yeah.
people. You know what I mean? It really does. You start developing them. Like I said, you start watching those people and like the funny uncle or whatever, and then you can start, stretching it from there. But yeah, Lex does that a lot. That's how he answers some of these call rooms.
Oh
Have
my
you tried
God.
to record these? Because this is really hysterical.
He
No.
did record one. You guys
Oh
will
my
have to
Lord.
have him on. He has funny stories for you.
We
Yeah.
Oh
want
my
it. We
God.
want him on. Oh my God.
I mean,
I wasn't talking about Lex, all due respect. I was talking about
oh,
just
that's
saying,
okay. No,
no,
I
no.
have not recorded them. And, before the internet, though, like there's so many stories where, people, you'd call and you'd have to give your credit card over the phone and they'd ask for your mom.
Yeah.
The worst was LA Weekly. Do you guys know LA Weekly?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It used to
So
be a magazine.
it used to be a magazine. And when I first moved to LA, I'm like, how am I going to meet people? So I do the dating thing in the back where
Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
oh my
Oh,
God. And I remember, like, just the goofy stories. I mean, one guy, he says he looks like Michael J. Fox and he looks like George from Seinfeld when you
oh
get
my.
there. And I mean, you just don't know what's happening. And they're like, wow, you sound really young. I swear to God, I'm not, they think you're a honey trap from the FBI.
Oh my.
You would do amazing on To Catch a
I
Predator as a
would.
decoy.
I
You
could
would be
be.
amazing.
Yeah, I could be
Hey,
a in-try private eye detective. Maybe
Oh
an
my God.
animation detective that's real, like real. I don't know. That's a good idea, though.
Oh.
I would love to be like a little bit psychic detective.
I will write the proposals for them right now when we get off.
Okay,
I will
cool.
write
You
them.
do
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
that.
Not even joking. That would be an amazing idea.
Yeah, that
Oh.
would be fun. That would be really fun.
So Sandy, the last question, and this is the last question we ask everybody, is if you could go into a time machine
Oh.
and talk to a younger version of Sandy Fox. It could be from yesterday or it could have been whenever. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Ooh, that's a big one. There's so many things. Probably buy real estate at a much earlier age. Well, I mean, definitely that one to a young entrepreneurial me. But definitely don't lose yourself. Don't lose who you are, by the harshness of the world or, people around you. Don't lose who you are and always stay true to your heart and your essence and know that you're worthy, you're loved, and you have a gift to bring to the planet and just stay there. Yeah, stay in that space.
I'm so glad you said that and you didn't say, hey, listen, don't do Keith Reza's podcast. Sandy, where can the folks at home follow and support you
At Sandy Fox World on Twitter and Instagram, Sandy Fox VO on Facebook. I see at Sandy Fox World. It's kind of like Disney World at Sandy Fox World. I'm not on TikTok as much, but you can follow me there and then visit my website, sandyfox.com. It has all the links to everything.
And next time I see you at a con, I promise I'll go up to you and say hi.
Please, you guys, please, and let us know when you're doing stand up again.
Oh, that would be great. Awesome.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to come see ya.
All right. Well, Sandy, have a great day, and thank you for doing Razor Riffs. We love you.
Thank you guys. You're awesome.
Great
Have an
talking to you,
awesome
Sandy.
2024.
Oh,
You
yeah,
too.
it is 2024.
Yeah, happy
Oh, yeah.
New Year.
Happy 2024.
Yeah.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
It's only been a week.
It's,
only
I
been a
know,
week.
it's still very new.
Uh,
Okay, guys, take care.
Bye,
Hey, thanks so
Sandy.
much.
Bye.
Have a good one.
All
Bye-bye.
right, guys. So that was the interview with Sandy Fox. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll definitely have her back. That was awesome.
That was fun, man. That was so much fun.
Yeah. All right, Victor.
Thanks,
We'll
man.
see you later. Folks at home, support the show, share, subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you next week.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.